and welcome to the first episode of Dr. D, That's Me. Today we will meet Dr. D, our host, who has over 30 years of experience in the health and wellness field. So, without any further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Dr. D.
Hello. I am happy and privileged to be here today. I'm very excited. Thank you for the wonderful introduction that you have given me. And by all rights, I must say that you are a star on your own. I don't know why I'm here, but Sarah Golden, I'm thankful for your presence and your artistic ability, because it is absolutely wonderful. I have a few of your pieces hanging on my wall, and it's pretty amazing. But also I wanted to give the flowers, as they say, to Mr. Spike for hosting this event. We are in Buchanan, West Virginia, beautiful Buchanan. And he's been, as far as I know, from what I've understood with him, meeting with him yesterday, he's been in the radio industry for 30 plus years. So he's running Sky Radio 106.5, and he is live weekdays from 6 to 10.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Dr. D.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, my name is Duane McAtee. I grew up in the Clarksburg, West Virginia area for the first 10 years of my life. Actually, the first 2 years I was in Wilsonburg, West Virginia. My family moved from Clarksburg to Doddridge County, and the homestead is still there. Been there since 1980. So yeah, that's my roots. Grew up at Laurel Lanes in Clarksburg from 2 to 10. Yeah, 2 to 10. So I have a total of 6 degrees, starting from 1994 from Salem Takeo University, and it was a degree in physical education and health and wellness. So I guess you could say, in essence, that I have about 32 years of experience in that area. I also received a degree from Salem University in West Virginia, my master's, and then I have another master's in natural medicine. So I'm a holistic doctor, and received my doctorate and PhD from Quantum University on May the 19th of 2022.
That's quite a resume you've got there. How wonderful.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk about health and wellness tips. What are your top 20 health and wellness tips for 2026?
I think something that you could do is something that I've done personally, so I'm not going to say I guess it is for everybody. It's called intermittent fasting, and I've done it consistently since 2014, and it's made a tremendous difference in my life and managing my weight, helping to keep the cholesterol where it needs to be, blood pressure stabilizing, all of that. So that's...
How many hours do you go fasting versus eating?
So I ate yesterday at 1 o'clock.
Oh, yeah?
So that's about, I don't know, what is that, 18, 20 hours, something like that. And my energy levels are very high, so I think it helps with that. I think, as Nikola Tesla said, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, you have to know about energy, frequency, and vibration. So that does make a huge difference. It gives your digestion a break, and it allows you to just continue on with your day. It keeps your spirits up.
Now, what do you say to people who say that breakfast is really important?
Well, isn't that interesting? So the Romans said, now this is not me, and I say this without ill will or vexation, breakfast is for gluttons. And that might
Ouch.
be a little, yeah, that might be a little, that might be a little harsh. But Mr. Kellogg, the guy who started Frosted Flakes and all that, he got a well of a good team behind him, marketers, doctors, and he said, let's come up with an idea to promote commerce. And that's exactly what we've been doing. We've been running that program for a long time. So it's time to make a change. It's kind of funny to me that a lot of people want to change, but they don't want to change.
Yeah.
So
it started out as a marketing campaign.
It was a marketing campaign, but I'm promoting the balance between holistic medicine and allopathic medicine. So I'm not here to put down any particular style of medicine. If you have a heart attack or you have a broken leg, don't come see me.
Understood.
You know what I mean? So, but if you have other things that you have going on with your health, mind, body, spirit, and soul, I think that's an essential part of who we are, because we're so much more than we could ever imagine. So once you start to tap in and tune in and get turned on to your divine spark, which everybody has, you can put yourself into a place of peace and wellness and wholeness and oneness, because it all gets back to what you say to yourself on a daily basis. The self-talk has a lot to do with that.
That's powerful. So one thing that I struggle with, and I take medication for, is blood pressure.
Yeah.
What do you do about that?
So there's a study from Tel Aviv, 2012, that came out. They had a million man and woman study. And what they deduced from that was actually pretty astounding. And they found out that the more salt that you have in your body, the more stable your blood pressure is. Now, that's counterintuitive in today's world, but by the way, the world is upside down and backwards if you haven't figured that out.
Right.
So, that's where we're at on that. But, and do your own research, do your own little thing there. And I think that will lead you, hopefully they haven't scrubbed that.
Do you think that sometimes medications are given to patients instead of something that you do holistically, just to sell the product?
Yeah, I think it's a big market. It's $1 trillion industry.
Yeah.
So they have a vested interest in your sickness, unfortunately. So we need to take a look at that from a holistic point of view and balance that out and see, is this, if I'm depressed and a doctor tells me you're going to have to be on this medication for the rest of your life, I would really seriously question that.
Yeah.
So
it's good to have all of your options available.
Yeah.
To understand.
And that's where alternative medicine comes in. I just want to reach out to the audience and let them know you have other choices, and not all natural medicine is the right answer for what you're experiencing in your life. But I would definitely say that the side effects are minimal.
That's true. A lot of medications have side effects that are almost worse than what you're trying to fight.
Well, that's just it. I think I heard recently on the Cat Williams podcast, he talked about how is it that the very thing that you're trying to cure causes the side effect?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, come on, man. So we need to wake up. We really do. We need to really look at this and pay attention. We have a lot of distractions going on in our lives, and when you get single-minded with your health and your wellness, and you're not listening to the narrative that's being talked about, and accept that as your reality, and you start really going inside yourself, and you say, wait a minute, where's the truth about this? What does my soul tell me that I need to do now, and it's the one thing that we're all trying to do is we're trying to get back home to the genuine, true, authentic us.
Very sound advice. Very sound advice. Now, here's a hard one.
Okay.
What do you know in your research and understanding about how to handle cancer?
Well, that's a tough one. It's going to sound sensational. When I was working on my doctorate and PhD, I ran across a guy, his name was Reichert Hammer, and I apologize to all the Germans out there. I'm sure I butchered his last name in some kind of way, but you can look him up. And he had over 30 years experience in his practice and over 30,000 cases. And what he came up with was that it has to do with the emotional duress that you're experiencing in your environment. And in medical terminology, there's a sympathetic fight or flight response. And if you're circling around in your head a lot and you keep thinking about the same negative event, the thoughts are alive and they can create havoc for your overall health. So thoughts become things. Things can get manifested in your life that you might not even really understand that you created that problem. I'm not saying necessarily that you did, but the environment plays a heavy factor on the lifestyle that you choose. So I think we choose a lot of the things that we create as the problems that we have in our lives.
Yeah. I've heard that some people try to handle these issues with meditation.
Well, meditation is great because it can put you in a place of parasympathetic, which is the opposite of sympathetic, which is rest and recovery.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So you want to be able to, and they've done science on this too. One of my old professors, Dr. Joe Dispenza, has a way to quantify your state of being and where you're at in your mind, in your heart. It's called a heart-brain coherence. There's a connection there. How you feel in your head is how you feel in your heart, and vice versa.
Makes sense.
So yeah, there's a gut-brain axis too. So if you are having problems with your stomach, digestion issues, more than likely you're going to have problems of clarity and peace, and that can make a difference.
Yeah. So I've heard it. I know you've heard it. What about laughter is the best medicine? What about that?
Well, cancer, we were talking a few minutes ago about cancer. So laughter is very important because it releases dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, oxytocin, which allows you to have empathy not only for yourself but for others. And
are we talking brain chemicals here? Is that basically what you're describing?
Your natural pharmacy is within you, and you can control a lot of things through laughter, looking on the bright side or the happy side of things. You can really get to a space where you feel like you're moving in a direction that has purpose and meaning in life. And what is your passion? How do you find your passion? There's a lot of things that you could do existentially to answer that question within yourself. And one of the questions that I typically like to ask people is that if you could do anything in the world and know that you couldn't fail, what would you do?
That's going to take some time for me to figure out. It's a rough one.
It is, but it's very self-reflective, and it's a meditative process. You have to go inside yourself. Yeah. Because the world wants you to find all the solutions outside of yourself, and the body really doesn't heal that way. The body heals from the top to the bottom, from the inside to the outside, and in the reverse order from where everything came from. And if I was to break that down, I would say the sun is what's coming from the top. Dr. Hurwitz wrote a book on this called 528 frequency, and the sun is oscillating and vibrating at a perfect hertz frequency of 528 hertz, and that's also known as the love frequency.
Of course, that's what you would bring up.
Yes.
Dr. D. He's all about love and healing, definitely. So back to the cancer thing. Often they recommend that women have mammograms every year, especially if they have a family history and, prone to that kind of thing. I'm concerned about the radiation.
There is quite a bit of scientific evidence and research on that. And if that's the only option that you have, you can go that way. But I would recommend another alternative choice, and that would be a thermogram. So the thermogram uses virtually no kind of radiation. And the problem with radiation is that it accumulates and can cause what's called a toxic overload.
Yeah.
So you want to look at that. It just uses thermal imaging, and So I'm here for alternative choices as a doctor.
Yeah. Now you mentioned something toxic, and we're talking about things that bother us, such as cancer. I would imagine that there are some household items that are toxic that may contribute to any of the problems that you have with your health.
Yeah. Many of our household items contain chemicals and Tide washing powders, dishwashing liquid. There's just so many different things that are available to us in the grocery store that really can cause a lot of problems.
What about aerosols?
Aerosols too, yeah. Can affect your breathing.
Oh, man.
And the breath of life is prana. There's different, getting back to, we talked about meditation, there are some Eastern practices that I do called pranayama, which allows me to get into a breathing space. One of the techniques is called 4-7-8. You hold for 4, let go, release, 7, 8. And it brings everything back into homeostasis. Homeostasis meaning the balance of mind, body, spirit, and soul.
Oh, man, that's some good stuff. Good advice. Good advice. Now, I've heard some things about the body being healed from different frequencies. What do you know about that?
So back in, you're going to have to fact check me on this. I think it was Royal Rife. I definitely know that in the 20s, I want to say, 24, 25, something like that. Again, you're going to have to check me out on that. But the frequencies can break a lot of the energetic patterns that is causing lower vibration of consciousness. So the body, again, needs to be in balance, the biorhythm within us to keep us intact, so to speak.
How do you treat someone with frequencies? How do you go about that?
So there are frequency machines that are available. My dad actually has one, and you can just dial it in to whatever frequency it is, and it gives you a list to look at and say, okay, so I'm trying to work on cancer. There's a cancer frequency remedy for that. So yeah, Dr. Royal Rife, he made some groundbreaking headway in that area.
Yeah. So one time I was at a show, and I do this stream of consciousness writing. It's kind of woo-woo to some people, right?
Right.
They came to me and they said, "You're not very grounded." Okay, now what did they mean by that? Do you know anything about grounding?
I do.
Okay.
So remember when we were kids and we just played in the sandbox, we took our shoes off, we rarely, if ever, got sick.
Yeah.
But here we are, say, 20, 30, 40 years later, and we're all sophisticated now, and we're wearing the latest, greatest fashion trend style boots and shoes. Well, it blocks the energy from Mother Earth from actually getting into you to heal you. So what I would recommend is take your shoes off, walk on the ground, allow that energy to come in and through you. Same thing with trees. Trees give off a lot of negative energy, and it doesn't mean negative as in bad or wrong. It just means that's one of the frequencies that heals, is the negative side of that. So, the trees absorb the negative toxins from our body, just like the grounding does. So it's all connected back to nature and trees and all that good fun stuff.
How do you get healing from trees? How do you go about that?
Well, the trees are obviously alive, and the carbon dioxide it can absorb. So the oxygen, the more oxygen you get, the more lively you are.
So just being around a tree, or do you recommend touching a tree?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a tree hugger. Ha ha, laugh out loud.
Oh, man. So. I suspected as much.
It's, again, it might sound a little sensational, but you can get a lot of information from trees, and I'm going to let that go for perhaps the next podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
something to tune into next time.
Something to tune into next time. That's right.
Okay, so we talked about walking around on the ground for grounding. We've talked about trees. What about food? How do you get your best food? Well,
you get your best food by growing your own food, silly.
Right.
But so I'm in the greenhouse now, growing foods. I use organic, non-GMO, indeterminate seeds that are going to grow and grow and grow. And I've done this before. And I have receipts on this. I know, again, it's going to be pretty wild when I say this, but I've grown tomato vines up to 12, 14 feet tall. And I use bamboo, and they keep running up the bamboo and the fruit or a vegetable, depending on what side you're on with that. It's pretty amazing, like 3 pounds a piece, but I don't think they're going to be that big this year because I got a late start. But the food has definitely been tampered with.
Yeah.
And if you want a better grade of food, if you don't have the money to grow a garden or you can't get to food, I think you should definitely stay away from the middle aisle. Because the middle aisle in the grocery store, that's where all your genetically modified foods are. So your healthier food choices are on the outside perimeter.
Yeah, I've noticed that. The way that the supermarkets are laid out, you got to go to the outside if you're going to get some real food.
Yeah. We eat a lot of junk. With the intermittent fasting, getting back to that, if I do cheat every now and then, it's just it'll be fine because there's not a whole lot of food in my stomach. I'm 6'1", 188 pounds now. But this has taken a long time to get to this consistent new me, if you will.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You're looking good. You're looking good. I've known Dr. D for very many years at this point. We've known each other since 2020, and I've seen him do some things. One of the things that I saw him do, hanging out with him, was auricular therapy. Could you possibly tell our listeners about that? Because I don't think very many people know about that.
So, auricular therapy, I use the auricle of the ear as a guidepost for the different points in the ear as it relates to the visceral organs, the heart, the kidney, the liver, the spleen, all your major organs that you need to live and survive and thrive. And it works. There's over 200 protocols that I use. Dr. Terry Olson, one of my mentors, who has about 50 years experience, has been instrumental in helping me to help other people in the area of addiction, substance abuse, anxiety, depression, PTSD. So it's needleless. The paper that I wrote is a 125-page paper, was on the quantum efficacy of needleless acupuncture. So I go into the ear and I hit these different secondary points, master points, and it brings things back into balance.
Can you share with our audience what instruments you use to hit these pressure points?
It's basically a TENS unit. And I think most people are familiar with the TENS unit. They typically use it for their back.
Yeah.
And it does a wonderful job. But you can use it. The Chinese typically use acupuncture for the body, which you can use the TENS unit for the body, the musculoskeletal. Also, you can use it internally for your bioenergetic body, because we're actually energy. And once you realize that the energy can change, you can transform, you can move that energy. There's a quantum entanglement there that you can have that makes a difference not only in your life but other people's lives. A dog can only be a dog, like a cat can only be a cat, but a human being can actually change.
That's very true. I have some cats. I have some dogs. They're not changing much. They're not.
Are you a cat or a dog?
I'm a cat person.
You're a cat?
Can't help it. Yeah. Are you a dog person or a cat person?
I tell you what, recently I've been into cats pretty hot and heavy.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from cats.
Yeah. They're very independent.
They're independent, and they'll tell you when they don't want to be messed with.
Now, I don't know if you've heard this before.
Uh-oh.
But I've heard that petting a purring cat brings down your blood pressure, too. Yeah.
And there's science on that as well.
Yeah.
Whenever a cat's purring, it's actually picking up on your energy and your frequency. If you're down or you're hurt, animals are pretty perceptive.
They are.
They really are. I believe they know when you don't feel up to par.
I believe that. I do.
Yeah.
So, being a holistic doctor, you must believe, and I want to know.
Don't get too deep on me now.
I'm
not very smart.
You shouldn't talk like that. So tell me, does the body have the ability to heal itself?
Yes, it does. I think we can help the body. Sometimes we just need to stay out of our own way. And I think the choices that we make, our mental level of consciousness can be detrimental to us. If the body, I was going to go with something on that, but I don't know. I'm going to change gears on that. But I don't want to be religious per se, but Jesus said so himself. He said, "Heal thyself."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're constantly looking for outside relief. We live in a microwave society. Fix me now. Let me take my pills, and let me go throughout my day or my life.
Right. Now, you have done some work with people who are struggling with addiction.
Yeah.
And there is a medication, I do believe, that's mentioned, ibogaine?
Okay.
Is that for that?
It is. There's a study from Stanford University 2024, and there were 36 war veterans, and what they came up with was pretty remarkable. The success rate from taking the ibogaine was actually 88% more successful than the national average of 10 to 12%
For recovering from addictions.
Alcohol, heroin, crack, even the worst of the worst type drugs. So Ibogaine is illegal, but they're on to something with the Ibogaine.
It's illegal in just the United States, or?
I don't know about that, but I know that they've done the studies on it, and again, you can look that up. 2024 Ibogaine from Stanford University, and I think we could agree that Stanford is a pretty reputable institution.
I've heard of it, definitely. Yeah. So, excuse my pun. But what's the skinny on cholesterol?
Oh my goodness. You went there, didn't you?
You did. I went there.
So the brain is 100% cholesterol.
No way.
Yeah. So
what
are they telling us? Be careful with your cholesterol. So the world is upside down and backwards with your health. And I'm not saying I have to be careful here, but just know that you need good cholesterol, and there are things that you can eat like eggs and things like that. Farm fresh, free range eggs. I don't think there'd be too many people that would disagree with that and say that eggs are bad, but people believe a lot of crazy things.
I think the doctors have been back and forth a few times on that, actually.
I think that's part of the problem. We get into these fad diets, and I don't know, I'm just not a fan of diets. I think if you exercise regularly, do your intermittent fasting, and again, I'm just trying to bridge the gap between the allopathic world and the holistic world. I'm not here to downgrade anyone. It just depends on your situation. Where are you?
Now, explain what allopathic is, because some people may not know what that is.
So allopathic is your medical doctors that you go to see.
Okay, your traditional
we
medical.
definitely need good medical doctors.
Yeah.
I support that 100%. It's just long term, I'm not necessarily a big fan of, but acute care, definitely 150% medical doctors are needed.
Yeah.
I know there's only 100%, but I just had to make it boost it up a little bit.
You had to.
You
had
supposed
to. So there's something that I've wondered about. Fluoride. What about fluoride?
A lot of neurotoxins in fluorides. People have been sold a bill of goods on that. So there's alternative remedies. There's TOMS. Many different guys. I use charcoal.
Yeah?
Charcoal is good. It doesn't have any of the chemicals in it. And
For our listeners, he has white teeth.
Hey. Well, outside of drinking the coffee that I just had, it might not be very white right now, so you told a little lie.
Not too much. It's pretty
little,
bright. Pretty bright.
But anyway, so the fluorides, I'm just not a fan of. There's no supporting medical evidence that says that fluorides really do anything for you.
Right.
Not for your teeth, not for
Really?
your health.
Wow.
I just don't believe in extra chemicals in the body. If it's not bioavailable, or the body relates to, if your body is not producing it naturally, then what's the point of taking something that's unnatural? So you just try to stay close to who you are and what you've been built to become.
Yeah. It makes sense.
I think so.
So the buzz around town, the buzz around the world, is you have this tour going on, the Healthy Addictions Tour. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's just a lot of people talk about addiction, and you need to really get your mental level of consciousness into a place where you can see something positive and different. So I just took a spin on that and just said the Healthy Addictions Tour.
Instead of addiction being a bad thing, you can have healthy addictions.
So, so let's get addicted to being outside, getting fresh air, getting sunshine. the way that our grandfather and grandmothers used to do it. I think we spend too much time indoors. We need to increase that melanin in our skin, which is good for you. Just stay away from all the nonsense chemicals that you put on your skin and your body.
Yeah.
Go natural. Use some coconut oil or something. But you need time outside, basically, to really feel like you're alive. So let's just be alive, instead of staying inside all the time, playing video games and doing all that craziness.
So every now and then you have an event? Is this what happens?
Yeah. So I'm looking for late July. The venue, I'm unsure of.
Okay.
So it's still in the works, but I have T-shirts available. And did you want me to go over a couple of the 10 that I have? I know what they are off the top of my head because I wrote them on the T-shirt.
If you want to.
So
sure.
The first one is love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul. The second one is akin to the first, which is love your neighbor as yourself.
Ah, yeah.
I think healthy self-love is so important.
So this is on the back of the T-shirts, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I didn't specify. Thank you for catching me on that.
Yeah, I got to watch you.
You got to watch me. Keep me grounded.
Yeah. Take off your shoes.
Take off my shoes right now. Do it. We're in the booth in Buchanan, West Virginia.
It might not be good.
The curtain's closed.
No.
So go ahead. Yeah, what's up?
Okay. So what about the conscious versus subconscious mind, and how does it work? That's a tough question.
So the subconscious runs about 95% of your life. Have you ever been driving down the road and you think to yourself, how in the world did I get here?
Oh, yeah, that happens to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I miss my turnoff.
Yeah, so true, right? I've done it many times myself. So that's the subconscious running the program of your life. So if you have 5%, which is conscious, and you have approximately 50 to 60,000 thoughts every day, 5% of that is about 3,000 choices that you're making automatically, and you don't really even realize that you're doing it. So it's just a matter of being cognizant. And when you become cognizant, then you become self-aware, self-reflective. You're mindful of what you're thinking and what Dr. Amit Goswami, one of my favorite professors, said, where your attention goes, your energy flows.
I do believe that is true. I do. And living in the subconscious is that is, but thinking about what you're thinking, it's a task. It's a task.
Sometimes the best thing to do is not think.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think we think too much sometimes. Overthinking can create problems, especially with men. We have a tendency to overthink things. I think.
You think.
I thought once that I thought, but maybe I didn't. But so you get like the subconscious, right? It recognizes symbols, so you know about symbols.
Oh yeah.
Because you do a lot of your drawings based on symbology. So the subconscious relates to symbols.
Oh.
So we should be writing things down that relates to the subconscious. And that can affect our health too, because everything's vibrating. Everything is energy. There's a vibration to squares, circles. Circles are feminine, squares are masculine. So there's part of that consciousness too.
Okay.
So
I'll take your word for it.
There's levels to the game.
Yeah.
There's levels to the game when it comes to consciousness. Do you want me to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have the base ego, which ego doesn't necessarily mean that it's something that's bad or wrong, unless it gets too out of hand. So again, you have to balance it out in the middle, but it's keeping us alive. It's keeping us, and we need that.
Yeah.
So that's the base level of consciousness. And where the acupuncture comes into play with this type of medicine is the next plane up of consciousness, which is the vital body.
Oh.
So the vital body relates to the energy and frequency from the machine that I use, and two of the typical frequencies that I use is 5 hertz, which affects the digestion, neurological, 2, which is the Chinese use a lot, which is the musculoskeletal. So then the one above that is the mental plane of consciousness. And then the one above that is the supramental. And then lastly, you have your blissful self, where there's no polarity of right, wrong, good, bad, black, white, whatever it is.
That's the best state of being.
I think sometimes we can hit it from time to time, but it's a challenging thing in today's world. You have all these different distractions.
Yeah, distractions.
Oh, that's a good one, right?
Yeah.
You have to be mindful of the distractions. You have to be single-minded. Single-mindedness will get you better results, I think, with your life, with your health and your wellness. And just stay focused on you, because you owe you.
Right.
You owe it to yourself and really nobody else.
So here's something. You must use a bunch of herbs for different kinds of things, right?
Not a whole lot. I have some standbys that I use. I like ashwagandha for stress, anxiety. And by the way, I think of one of my favorite professors, Dr. Joe Dispenza, who he has many bestsellers, or several, I can't say many. But one of them is for depression. The reason why we get depressed is because we constantly go back to the same event in our minds over and over and over again, and we don't know how to accept those things.
Right.
So the world's telling us half truths and half lies. You can't change the event, but you can change the perception of your own deception as it relates to that event. So
that's a mind twist, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah, you can actually change the past that way. And the past, the present, and the future, they're all happening simultaneously. Mm-hmm. So don't allow as Dr. Joe says, don't allow your predictable past to determine your foreseeable future.
Oh.
The gift is in the here and the now, and that's eternal.
Yes, and that's a hard thing to do sometimes, to stay in the present, but it's the healthiest place to be, I do believe.
Yeah, that's good. Holism 101.
Yeah.
And the greatest gift is in the here and the now.
Yeah, I have a question about the herb thing still, because I heard there was something for your thyroid health. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this right. Bladderwrack?
Bladderwrack.
Yeah? Yeah,
bladderwrack is used. It's good for nerves. It's good for a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, bladderwrack is
Where do you find
cool.
that?
You can grow it. I mean, it grows, I believe, don't hold me to this, native to North America.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can use that.
So what else do you use for, like, soothing nerves, anxiety, and stress?
Well, first, before you use the pills, you have to understand what it is, what we call stress, or let's just say anxiety, okay?
Okay.
So when your breathing pattern changes, and how do you know it's changed? You can take your right hand, you can put it on your chest, you can take your left hand and put it on your stomach. If your chest is coming out and your stomach, it's coming out more than your stomach,
Wait, your chest more than your stomach, or your stomach more than your chest? Which way are you going?
Okay, so maybe I didn't explain myself clearly on that. My bad. So if your chest is coming out, expanding,
yeah. If your
and
chest
your stomach's
is
not moving, you're in anxiety. You're worried about your future.
Well, that's how I breathe, probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
we'll work on that. We'll work on that.
So
organically,
the other way is if your stomach is extended more.
If your stomach is distending, moving out. And your chest is staying the same, then your breathing pattern is correct.
And all of a sudden, I can't breathe. Yeah. I'm just like thinking about my breath right now.
Yes, that's right. So organically, without any kind of herbs or medication or anything like that, when you experience this overwhelming sense of anxiety, check your breath, check yourself on that, and that will get you back to your center. It'll get you back to balance. And getting back to depression, we'll skip that. We'll scrub that for now. But
okay, save a little something for the next time.
Right.
There's something that can counteract chemo and radiation, right?
So, unfortunately, we all in some kind of way know someone who has cancer. Well, I have it in my family. But yeah, the ascorbic acid from vitamin C is a good absorbent. Also the bone, what is it? Is it bone?
Bone meal.
Bone meal, yeah. So the bone meal, again, absorbs a lot of the toxins, the negative toxins that accumulate from the chemo and the radiation. So it can lessen the effects of being lethargic or having a general sense of malaise, not feeling your normal, wonderful, cheery self.
Right. Now I know you well enough. I can ask you anything.
Oh my.
And here's the big question. It's our last question.
Oh no.
Okay. I want to know what your philosophy is on combining conventional and holistic medicine. Now, people they have their regular doctors and they want to seek help from a holistic doctor.
Yeah.
How do you make that work? Do you forget all about your regular doctor? Or
No, I wouldn't do that at all. Again, I'm here to bridge the gap between the two worlds.
Okay.
And I think once we are balanced within that, acute care, I definitely recommend medical doctors.
Yeah.
Long-term care, you might want to look at alternative solutions to get you into that balance. It's just, there's a balance.
Very good.
The balance of life is essential for everyone in mind, body, spirit, and soul. We're all trying to get back home.
Yeah.
And home is in the eternal soul.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. Well, it's been wonderful spending time with you today, Dr. D.
Likewise, Sarah Golden.
Yeah, we've had some really in-depth discussions about how to handle these things that we're facing. Yeah. Definitely, it's been good to spend time with you, and we'll catch you next time.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.